Hey, welcome back to your favorite technical mathematics course. We're going to take a look at right triangle. Right triangle is the Pythagorean theorem, so let's introduce the Pythagorean theorem and we'll go from there. The Pythagorean theorem says if you have a right triangle, so we have a 90-degree angle, then a squared plus b squared must equal c squared, okay, for a right triangle. The sum of the legs equals the square of the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side opposite the 90 degrees. So let's go ahead and by the way, C is traditionally the hypotenuse. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one here. So we've got the legs are A and B, hypotenuse is C, and they tell us that A is 20, C is 29. So let's go ahead and find that missing angle B. So we know Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, the greatest theorem in all of mathematics, actually. A is squared, so 20 is squared plus b squared equals 29 squared. So I go ahead and I punch in 20 squared, so 20 times 20, I got 400. And then 29 times 29, not sure what that is, 841. And we solve for b squared, so let's subtract 400 on both sides. And now we've got, let me come up here, b squared equals 441. And now I got to undo b squared, so I square root both sides. Well, if I square root b squared, I got b. And then I take the square root of 441, and I get 21. So that missing side length b is a length of 21. Let's do an application here. We've got a 22-meter tall tree. It casts a shadow. Let me see if I can. Here's my sun. I'm definitely not an artist. Here's my tree. Here's our ground. Here's our tree. And it's casting this shadow. So see if the sunlight hits the top of that. It's kind of casting a shadow. This is 90 degrees. Casting a shadow on the ground that's 15.6 meters long. Okay. So how far is it from the top of the tree to the tip of the shadow? Well, they also tell us that this tree is 22 meters tall. Okay, so let's go A, B, C. How far is it from the top of the tree to the tip of the shadow? How far is it from the top of the tree to the tip of the shadow? In other words, what's this side length C, this hypotenuse? So again, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We're solving for C. A is 15.6, so I get 15.6 squared. B is 22 squared equals C squared. I take 15.6 times 15.6, I get 243.36. I get 22 squared, gives me 484. And I add those two together, I get 727.36 equals C squared. Now we got to solve for C, so I got to square root both sides. So I go ahead and punch in the square root of 727.36, and I get C ends up being 26.9696123. And we'll round that to the nearest hundredth. So 26.97. I'll bump that 6 up, approximately, right? Meters, by the way. That's the length. So about 26.97 meters. Oops, there's the answers there. And let's do one more application. We got an airplane that is 3,000 feet directly above one end of a 10,000 foot runway. Let's go ahead and draw this. Here's our runway, 10,000 foot. It's a 10,000 foot runway. Airplane is 3,000 feet directly above one end of it. Let me take the right end of it. So 3,000 directly feet above. 3,000 is this airplane. Oh, I can't draw an airplane. Airplane with a tail. Oh my goodness, can't draw. But anyways, it's 3,000 feet up there. What's the distance between the airplane and a glide slope indicator? So here's where this glide slope indicator on the ground is on the other side. What's this distance, right? In other words, what's C again, right? Well, A, B, C. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 10,000 squared. B is 3,000 squared equals C squared. So 10,000 squared gives us 100 million. 3,000 squared gives us 9 million. Add them together. I get 109 million. And now we got to square root that. So second square root of that 109 million. C is 10,440.30651. Let's round that to the nearest hundredth. 0.31, and this is in feet. That's how far this length is for C from the airplane to that glide slope indicator. Well, I think that'll get you guys started with the right triangles and the Pythagorean theorem. See you next time. Thanks for watching.